Dr. Ross.
Yeah. So you were working on the boundary control systems before, I believe, with Dr. Hansen, right?
Yeah.
So, and you mentioned this drill problem, which is in fact a boundary control problem, and
Yeah.
you're making
That's
observations,
right.
measurements, and so on.
That's right.
And my question is like, was there anyone in your team knowing anything about the boundary control systems or boundary observation systems? So were you just by yourself when you posed that wave equation? Remember, you simplified it, you made it an ODE, in fact, right? So was there anyone sort of like collaborating with you in that aspect? Not necessarily a mathematician, but maybe from like another major, like mechanical engineer or...
For that particular problem, I was the only person. So Reza approached me and he said, you have a math degree, this is a PDE, work with this person, and well, I worked with somebody who understood the dynamical system pretty well, right? So I worked with somebody who understood the engineering side of it very well. He does have some idea of how to solve the problem, solve the equation, but not really. That was me. Of course, Reza is capable of doing it, but he was the manager, so he handed me the problem.
Did you decide working on the linear version of the wave equation by yourself, or because I have heard like...
Oh, I see your question. Yeah. So we based it off of a paper that already existed, and the top priority at the time was replicate the problem, replicate the solution, which we know is what commercial software is doing. We can replicate exactly what they're doing, that's already a win. Later, we came back to the problem and we did a little bit more work on it. So that equation is linear because you're assuming that the string is completely straight. Mm-hmm. That's not the case, right? You're drilling a hole, you're going all over the place, that's not gonna be a straight line. And so there is a formulation for accounting for that that the string is going to experience. So there's going to be a lot of friction forces that are lost in the as you're moving the string up and down. So some of that work we did as well. But the number one thing to do was to replicate what already existed commercially. Yeah.
Thank you. There we go. Back to you.
As far as, so a mathematical scientist versus a data scientist, do you have any distinction? Is there something that a mathematical scientist can do?
Well, this is through my lens. So I was actually very happy that I was given the title that I have. A little bit going back to that analogy I was making, I was trying to make about the ISA and the HASA, right? So because the term data scientist is not, I think it's a little ill-defined or it's loosely defined. I like the idea of being a mathematical scientist because my background is in mathematics and I'm here doing science. Sorry. My background is in mathematics and I'm here doing science, right? And that way I don't have to label myself as a data scientist. You see, my biggest contribution is that I'm bringing my analytical problem solving skills. And so how do I want to, again, how do you want to be known across your organization? That's something that you have to think about very hard. And for me, if I wanted to be known as a data scientist, it's a little bit loose and you can find people in other disciplines. So you can be a reservoir engineer, take a few courses in data analysis and call yourself a data scientist. So I'm not really setting myself apart from the herd in that sense, right? So that's not really the brand that I want for myself at the moment. And also, you know, I think there is a danger with attaching yourself to that title because we don't know in 5-10 years what the connotation of being a data scientist is going to be. So if there's an oversupply of data scientists, because everybody's calling themselves a data scientist, then I think I'm going to be better off being a mathematical scientist, right? Because that's still a very specific, it has a very specific meaning. Yeah.
So you think you'd ever take a job as a data scientist?
If they offer me enough money. But I mean, it's a conversation that you can have for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We still have like 4 or 5 minutes to ask questions, so feel free to forward your questions. You have one?
So if you have data, as far as you pointed out, sometimes you can tell if data is linearly separable, but like if you have a whole bunch of variables, it's harder to tell if something is linearly separable. Do you have a way of going through, like, as far as checking to see, is there any good way to check linear separability, or you just try a model that would look at it in a linear separable and one that would look at it as, we can't assume that it's literally separable, and go from there?
In my experience, I think what I found out the most is instead of telling what's most appropriate, it's easier to tell what's not appropriate. And so I can tell you there are situations where I can tell there's no way this is going to work linearly. That to me is a lot easier to tell. What's going to work? I think that's a little bit harder. I think I personally try a few things and see what works best. Yeah.
Last questions?
Any plan to go back to academia?
No, not currently. Not currently. But I don't discard it. Not in the future, no. I don't know when. I don't know what your opinion is, Oskin. Like I remember before I graduated, I did the IMA workshop. I don't know if you.
Yeah. Industrial
you did
workshop?
the same. Yeah, you went to Minnesota, right? So I went to Vancouver, and I got to work.
partnering with Boeing, so. You
were partnering with Boeing, so the person that we partnered with was from KLL Tencor. They make semiconductors.
Oh.
And I remember asking him what he thought. Should I go into industry? Should I go into academia? And he told me, I remember this. He said, if you want to go into industry, right now is the time to try it. If you wait too long, it's going to be a lot harder to go back to academia. And I think, in general, I think that's still true. So I think with 3 years, but the thing is, I haven't been active publishing papers, and so that's going to make it really hard for me to go back. But
how about teaching?
Teaching, you know, personally, no, I don't miss it as much. No, I think I'm enjoying this this dynamic here. Yeah.
All right. No question anymore? All right. So we thank you to the speaker.
Thank you, guys.
And thanks again, Jesus, to join us. Hope to see you, Reza. Hope to see Reza in, I think, May 1st. So his talk is scheduled to May 1st. So say hi to him.
Yeah, for sure. I will.
Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye. There we go.